Your first client just vanished, no email, no call, no smoke signal, nothing. One day, you're planning how to spend that invoice. And the next, you're staring at a read receipt from 3 weeks ago, wondering if you accidentally offended someone's grandmother. Let's back up, because this happens more than the polished LinkedIn highlight reels will ever admit. Somewhere between the handshake and the deliverable, the relationship cracks. And when it does, it doesn't just hurt your feelings, it fractures your cash flow, your confidence, and your calendar all at once. The ghosting itself isn't even the real villain in this story. The real problem is that most first-time freelancers and contractors go in completely naked. No contract, no deposit, no paper trail, just vibes and a verbal agreement held together by mutual optimism. Think of it like building a house on a handshake. Sure, it feels solid right up until the moment the other person decides to walk away and you're standing there holding lumber you already paid for. The economic reality is brutal. When one client represents 100% of your revenue, losing them doesn't feel like a setback. It feels like an extinction event. There's this collective delusion in the early days of any service business where we convince ourselves that being nice and doing good work is enough protection. Experts in contract law will tell you, and honestly, so will anyone who's been burned once, that goodwill is not a legally enforceable document. Here's the uncomfortable irony. The clients who seem the warmest, the most enthusiastic, the most, let's definitely do this, those are sometimes the exact ones who ghost you hardest. Human psychology is fascinating and terrible that way. The dopamine hit of times planning, times a project can feel so satisfying that actually executing it becomes optional in their mind. Historically, this pattern repeats itself across every service industry, from graphic design to general contracting to real estate consulting. The freelancers and small operators who survive long-term aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who treated their business like a business from day one, not a friendship with invoices attached. The biggest misconception people carry into this situation is that chasing the ghost will somehow fix things, sending a fifth follow-up, offering a discount, apologizing for something you didn't do. What actually recovers your revenue is speed of pivot. Filing your contract claim if one exists, activating your next prospect immediately, and auditing your pipeline so you never have a single point of failure again. So here's what the recovery actually looks like in practical terms. You stop mourning the lost client by Thursday. You send a firm, professional final notice citing your agreement, and you immediately redirect that mental energy toward 2 or 3 warm leads you've been sitting on. The lesson isn't to become cold or transactional, it's to build a system where no single client's disappearance can sink the ship. Going forward, the contract is non-negotiable, and I mean a real one, with a deposit clause, a kill fee, a scope definition, and a communication expectations section written in plain language anyone can understand. 30 to 50% upfront isn't aggressive. It's just the industry filtering out the people who were never serious about working with you in the first place. The philosophical shift that changes everything is moving from, I hope this client works out, to, I have a process that protects me regardless of who shows up. Discipline in your intake process, discipline in your contract terms, and discipline in your pipeline management will outperform raw talent every single time. There's actually something freeing about getting ghosted once, because it forces you to build the infrastructure you should have had before you ever took on a client. You come out the other side a little more cynical, yes, but also significantly more protected, and that's a trade worth making. Position size matters here just like it does in any investment. No single client should ever represent your entire operation, because concentration risk in a service business is just as dangerous as putting your life savings into one stock. Build the habit of always running multiple conversations simultaneously, not out of desperation, but out of strategic discipline. The clients worth keeping are the ones who don't blink at a proper contract. In fact, the professional ones oftentimes respect times you more for having one. And the ones who ghost you when you present terms, they just saved you from a much longer, more expensive nightmare down the road. If you're ready to build something more structured, whether that's your real estate investing strategy, finding reliable contractors, or connecting with lenders who actually pick up the phone, check out our links in the description below.